yourself in that position because you're the average of your whatever 5 people you hang out with or whatever the number is. So if you constantly
I'm definitely the brokest of those 5 people.
whatever it is, but if you're just like
Maybe
surrounded with these people and you keep talking about how we're gonna get out of this messy middle, you're like saying that like you,
Putting out in the
manifesting can be, but also like you're surrender. You're surrendering like to the messy middle.
Welcome to the messy middle. Got a fun topic this week. I think it's meeting, dinner, social overload. When to know, I think it's like when to know when's enough, when to know you don't have enough. And it's, it's all during, different parts of your messy middle experience. I actually went to a dinner last night that I didn't know if I was going to go or not. I'm pretty happy I went. So it was a mixture of post-exit founders and some other random invitees by a group, random invites by a group in New York called Interplay, and it's a venture studio, venture fund, and accelerator, all in one. The guy was a pretty interesting guy who founded it, and he does a dinner like this once a month where he invites 6 or 7 people. But I was debating about going because I was like, oh, I'm in upstate New York. I was hanging with my wife, and I'd have to take the train back into the city. I didn't know what to expect. And I kind of was at sort of like why we got to this topic, kind of meeting and dinner and social overload of other founders. I'm not saying of people outside of tech. So I don't know, you guys ever get that? I mean, I'm an extrovert. You guys are more introverted, so
yeah. I've actually been to one of that was my first interaction with people from the PF group, the Interplay dinner. And I went there, and I'm an introvert. And I was like, yeah, why am I going there? Do I really belong there? Like these people I don't know who these people are, but I assume like these are like very successful post-exit and founders. And I'm somewhat closer to a failure than success. It's some weird spot. But I went, and I think it was a good dinner. It matters who the people are and how they interact. And I think in general the PF people have been really like welcoming and not judgmental. And I'm coming from a background where people judge you, so I expect to be judged. But like when you interact with these folks, it's just you feel like you're okay, you're fine. There are different types of conversations, people going through different types of struggles, and you quickly realize that we're all human beings. Of course, some are more successful, some less successful, but I don't see a reason not to go there based on some prejudgment that I have in my mind. But it's always that same question before something like that. I'm like, should I go there? Do I belong there? Should I just start to work on something and let my work speak about itself, or should I network with people? I don't know. That's my kind of. It's been always like that, trying to figure out whether I should go or no. I don't have an answer, but oftentimes, most of the times, I feel good after the fact that I went there. So if I go there, it's initially hard for me to do it, but then after it's done, I'm glad I did it.
Interesting. A lot of times I don't feel good afterwards. So this, I felt good after this one, because this was like, I think they curated it nicely. But some of these events that I go to, the PEF ones are mostly pretty good. But if it's like a random tech event or a random dinner that I find, and this could be just my ego, and you guys can tell me I'm an asshole, where it's like if I don't find people of value there, it seems like a fucking waste of time. And yeah, I don't know, Frank, you're giving me the eye roll.
So, no, I'm not.
The agree.
I'm not sure if it's true. I think you're trying to project that, but I think it's more maybe it's a reflection on it where you were there and then you come back and be like, why was I there? But the truth to me is, I don't care if I meet people who are useful or whatever. Like what I care is, do I meet people I click with? And if I meet someone I like and have a nice conversation, it's really cool. I'm like, awesome, that's great. I had one of these here in Estonia a couple of weeks ago. I went with, I assume, people who are very successful here, and went to whatever their super mansion with a bunch of people, invite only and drinks, and I stayed 2 minutes and I came back home. And the reason is because I don't think I'm an introvert. It's kind of more complicated maybe, but I can only talk about business, and in Europe they never talk about business, so I don't know what to talk about. But if I go in San Francisco, or business or tech or whatever, things I care about, at least I would say I like parties, for example, in San Francisco, where you can put me where like everybody around the room would be an engineer or would like to talk about tech, and we can do a mix of tech and philosophy, and even if it's not business related, I'll feel enriched, and I feel like that was interesting. But if you go to a place where I don't know what to talk about, then it's difficult. So to me, it's more about clicking with people, and after that, great if it's for business or not. But if it's for business, then that's at a point where I'm not in a messy middle. That's at a point where I go and pitch what I do, and I know exactly who I'm looking for, and I haven't asked. So I guess maybe 2 different stages.
I think you're right. I think there's a clear differentiator between if you're going in the messy middle, and this is a comment that you've mentioned many times, Frank, which is the Sam Altman one, which is like you go to a party in San Francisco, which also could be a party in New York City too, and people are like, "Oh, what are you working on?" You're like, "I'm just figuring things out. I'm taking it," and people are like, "What? You're still figuring it? Okay, let's go talk to somebody else." So I think you're right. There's 2 clear different types of social engagements, like dinners, when you're in the messy middle and when you're out of the messy middle. But I want to get to the point where,
yeah, it's to me it's the same as when you go to a conference, yeah, and you go with a mission, and you're like, I want to raise money or meet people I can do it with, and then you keep meeting people who are exactly like you, trying to sell your stuff, and you're like, hi, I'm like, are you? I'm raising. I'm like, me too. Okay, have a good day. So it's kind of a.
yes, it's kind of after a while that you don't want to, like, you don't. How it feels like in my last 2 sort of dinner engagements, not this last one, but in New York, where people are also figuring things out. I'm like, okay, I don't want to hang out anymore with people figuring things out. I almost want to hang out with people who have figured things out. So
I mean, the way I deal with it, and it's funny because I'm doing that today, but I'm organizing a barbecue. It's going to be beer, burgers, and AI. It's going to be an apartment, and I invite 15 people. And I started with 2 or 3 friends, and I said, do you have anyone else you want to bring? And I think when you have a host, it's kind of cool because you don't have to talk to anyone.
Yes.
And so I prefer, it's actually easier for me to host these things. And this way I'm like, that's cool. People were happy, and I like, and I'm kind of a center of a thing, but it's always harder for me to go than to organize, I guess.
Yeah, but it's actually more valuable for me if I'm the organizer, and I used to organize events, but going to an event versus organizing, I feel like you by default have this agenda. Sort of what's going to happen. People will come to you, they talk to you. You don't have to invest.
You don't have to
energy
introduce
in that.
yourself, do anything.
Exactly, yeah. It puts you in a good spot.
So that's my hack, I guess. My hack is, and again, this is not even an event. It's like what you had in New York, which is easy to do.
Gathering dinner,
which is,
whatever.
I'm gonna gather 5-7 people at my place, and we'll hang out. And and then little by little, you do it enough, and I'm sure the perception from outside is like, oh my god, Frank is organizing this thing, and last time there's like 7 people, and I wasn't part of it. Because it's communities are like that, but the truth is just to invite whoever and then it randomly grows.
Well, we got an invite, but we can't come. Sorry, we're in New York.
Exactly.
I feel like
anyway. So to be
I mean,
practical for people who listen to us, I would say organize your own stuff if you feel awkward, and it's gonna be better.
Yeah.
We used to organize this event in Skopje called Silicon
We should
Drink
launch
About.
the messy drinks or the messy dinners.
This was called Silicon Drink About. It was similar to whatever franchise, like Start a Weekend was, something like that. It originated from London.
Yeah, it was London.
And we somehow got into got in touch with the organizers and we started organizing it in Skopje. But it was always for me, it was a good thing because every Friday I knew that I have this reserved spot that I'm going to meet people, they will come to me, and you're sort of establishing yourself as the organizer, as you, Frank, said. And it puts you in this good position where you don't have to look for that energy, which for me as an introvert is a really challenging thing. And I want to correct what I said before, because I started reading, this is off topic, the 4 Agreements, the book that Shane mentioned. Mm-hmm. And one of the first agreement is actually to be impeccable with your word. So I want to correct what I said before. I'm not closer to failure, I'm closer to success, just to be mindful of what I'm putting out there. Yeah. So
then Frank would chime in and say, but we're also all closer to death. But maybe we're closer to enlightenment, Frank.
Yeah.
No, I mean, death is my main motivator. Again, after that, it depends of your religion or if you have any. But, once you realize that, I often say, once you know you're going to die, is your goal of life to sell more ads for Google?
Yeah.
It puts things in perspective,
It's a classic. It's the classic Steve Jobs-ism, which, he said to John Scully. And he was like,
"Oh yeah,
do you want to keep selling soda water, or do you want to sell computers?" And then John Scully was like, "Yeah,
sugary
water or something." Yeah, and he was, "Yeah, let's go sell computers, and let me throw you out of your company, and then run it." And I don't know.
But again, back to these social things. It's to me, it's fine. You need cave time, you need socialized time. The other thing I've done recently, I guess, is I was part of a group, but then I was like, it doesn't feel like the right vibe or whatever, and then you're always free to say no and step out and find your own group. All these things are fine here.
Yeah,
there's not much here for me to say, but the thing is, again, it's very different when you know what you do, and very different when you're just
goal.
When you have no clue of where you are and what you do, and you don't even have any agenda, you don't look to meet more people. And at the end of the day, the truth is, it's not even related to the messy middle. Is how do you make friends when you're 35 plus or 40 plus, and it's not the same as when you're in high school.
34 plus.
Whatever.
Yeah.
If you have kids, if you have all of that, like the way it works to make friends is a different dynamic, and it's difficult for everybody.
It's hard. And I think what's been nice is with this, post-exit founders group, I've actually there's like 2,000 people that are part of it. And I think I've made 2 pretty close friends, maybe 3. I think I've made 3 close friends, and that's pretty good because
since you joined the group.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Like close friends, like I hang out with them. Like
so you were not connected to them before, you just met them through the group.
No.
To me, it's easy. There's none of them in Estonia, so I'll.
But what's interesting is these 3 guys, one is in New York, one is in Paris, and one is in LA. So I built those connections, and
you built them when you were in LA, when you were in New York, and when you were in Paris.
No, I built them through PEF, through joining this group.
Without meeting them, you were not like, hey, I'm in Paris.
One of them I didn't meet in person. The other one I met in person, and then the other one we met in Paris last year. Okay. We had a very romantic walk.
So was it before?
No, we
because you guys started exploring potential like partnership, working on something together, or was it
way of doing it? It's definitely the extroverted way of doing it. Is like you go in, you meet the people you want to meet, and then you build these kind of stronger connections. But that's also my superpower, right? Is kind of the networking. But I do feel, even though it's a superpower, at some point there is an overload of dinners in the messy middle of meetings. And like we're coming up, it's summer, right? It's going to be really great. And I actually kind of was thinking about implementing a couple of days of not taking meetings with people to discuss business, and just spend like 3 or 4 days of dinners that are just social engagements that do not circle around figuring out what's next. Like I need a little bit of a break because my brain has been thinking so much about what's going to go next. I need some space.
That's an interesting point you brought up earlier about surrounding yourself with people in the messy middle, like the 3 of us or the PF group. And it's almost your, I don't know, you're putting yourself in that position because you're the average of your whatever 5 people you hang out with or whatever the number is. So if you constantly
I'm definitely the brokest of those 5 people.
whatever that is, but if you're just like
Maybe
surrounded with these people and you keep talking about how we're gonna get out of this messy middle, you're like saying that what's the word there? I don't know, like
putting out in the
manifesting could be, but also like you're surrender. You're surrendering like to the messy middle. Like I'm failing. I'm still in the messy middle. While if you probably maybe change the scenery, change like the social circles, or have different types of folks for different types of dinners, maybe that will be helpful. And then because eventually you compare with these people, and as you said, like I'm the poorest or whatever, I'm like the most successful, least successful. But if you change the scenery, if you hang out with other types of folks, maybe you can have a different perspective. I don't know, just intentionally putting yourself there. Because we are constantly kind of victimizing this thing. We're in this messy middle. We can't figure it out.
I don't know. I mean, like I feel like I'm gonna play a little bit of a guru mode, but people tend to.
Frank.
Yeah, Guru Frank. No, but the thing is, it is maybe very Protestant or very very American at least to break down things in the utilitarian manner. It's like I need dinners, I need to meet people, I need to do that. Everything's result oriented. But back to we're human beings. We're like, I feel like there's also to me joy into, it's not about like I'm eating food and food goes into my body and this gonna be that much protein and that much thing and that much that and that much vitamin and then I can live 120.5 years.
Unless you're Brian Johnson.
Then sure. But what I mean is then you're kind of missing life, and so I think there's another part of you which is not the thinking brain, but which is like, having fun, having pleasure, relaxing, like all these things, like de-stressing, eating good food because it's nice, having dinner with friends because it's fun, reading a book because why not? And I think until you're able to reach that point, that means, I don't want to say that means you're very sick, but it means to me you're not in the right state of mind of being ready to launch something else. That's kind of almost a symptom of the wheel keeps spinning and spinning, and you don't know how to stop the wheel. And I feel like that's to me that's a symptom that you'll be like you need to rest. But when you see the world like that, then there's still like you're not in the right state of mind. The right state of mind would be, what, like I've got plenty of time. I don't know what to do, so whatever. I'm just gonna read a nice book and look, a bird. And I think once you get there, that's when you'll be more creative. That's when you'll be, I met that guy, he's great. Oh my god, he's so successful, and that's cool. I don't care, I've got my own water and whatever. So anyway,
I think you're right, Frank. I think when you
I'm sorry, I was thinking about it recently because I've got all these books I haven't read in like 6 months, and I'm like, I used to read a lot more, and I'm like, what happened? And then I'm like, okay, like I'm just gonna walk, go to the park next door, and start to reread my philosophy book. And there's no agenda; it's absolutely useless. But fuck that! Like I should enjoy at least my freedom, because I know that if I launch another startup again, I would have no freedom for 3 years, and my mind will be spinning all the time. So I'm like,
and that's what I was thinking about yesterday when I was in upstate New York before going to this dinner. I'm like, I'm really relaxed. Like, this is a very nice
You're
day.
enslaving yourself. Yeah, it's back to what you were saying. You're like, why should I go when you have a good time right now?
I'm like, and it was
the answer is you shouldn't have gone. You should just be like, fuck that.
Yep.
And next time I probably would do that. But I already confirmed, and I triple confirmed.
Like, it's not the time. I'll do it another time. Let's enjoy life.
Yeah. And that's why I kind of position like where I'm at personally in the messy middle is I'm ready to start something new. And back
to death being the great equalizer. When you'll be on your dying bed, you will not be like, oh my god, I wish I went to this dinner. You'll be like, I was so happy to have a good time with my family and wife or whatever.
I like what you said, Frank, about the optimizing for stories. If whatever brings a story, good story out of it.
That's when you have adapt. When you don't know for A or B, pick the best story at least. My case was picking for least regrets, but like I like that approach with the stories. And I started practicing this with the New York Tech Week. Was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I subscribed or like decided to attend to multiple events, and I just registered for those events, and I had them in my calendar. But then when the
time came for me to go to some of these events, I was like,
I would
what's
just
gonna
go
be
watch
better
a movie.
story? Should I just go there or like keep working or whatever? I had like, I'm gonna exercise, and then I'm optimizing for a longer term story. So it worked for me, but I have to
You didn't go
consciously
to any of the
be.
events, right?
I went to maybe one, the PEF
I went
one
to
that we met.
zero. PEF. I just went to the PEF
So
one. I
so
went to
that
none.
so yeah, that was the only one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
also the quality of the New York tech events. I'm going to be totally like blatantly.
Careful.
yeah.
And I'm kidding.
No, New York Tech Week events suck. Like you're just not going to go for quality. So if you want to go to tech, if you really want to go to tech events, just go to fucking San Francisco. Excuse me, like I'm swearing, but like I don't
It's a
know.
New York style.
Like the 2 weeks
That's
that I spent in San Francisco, I was with Gary
Of
Tan.
course, of
I was
course.
with the OpenAI people. That's where they are. So like if you really want to do that, like skip all the events, go there and do that.
And
You
to me,
know, and
my happy place in the Bay Area would just be to go to a coffee on University Avenue in Palo
Yeah.
Alto. And honestly, it's like I'm like meet friends there. It's like
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
you can go say hello to all the homeless guys too. They're always nice.
Not in Palo Alto.
not in Palo Alto. Yeah.
There was like three
Some.
around
Fair
there last
downtown.
time.
Some.
So
Okay.
yeah, well, compared to San Francisco, yes, there's none. So okay, so I think we beat this subject to death on sort of the dinners and the meetings. I wanna actually talk a little bit more though about this feeling of not wanting to
You
do
know what?
something.
Screw it, podcast. I'm just gonna go watch TV.
Oh no, Frank, your TV's not that way.
Commitment matters.
I was thinking about this, you know, even before the three of us jumped on today, about this concept of like, and this is from a conversation that I had with another post-executive founder last week who actually started a new company, and he is financially free, doesn't need to worry about it, made a lot of money, and he's like, why am I doing this? And like, why am I actually busting my ass to do this? And he goes, I don't have a reason. And he asked me what my reason was, and I made it very clear. I'm like, I still want to have that big company. Like, I still want to have the big win. Like, and it's not even financially, right? It's mostly just like I want to see that I can do it and mark that off the list. And I said, well, you've already had it, so why are you doing this? And he's like, well, because I couldn't figure out anything else to sort of work on. So his point was maybe I should just stay home all day, hang out with my kids, and become a better dad. And I guess the question to you guys that I would ask, and I haven't asked this before, once you guys financially have, you know, done it and succeeded in the startups that you want to work on, do you want to do something else with your lives?
Short answer from this perspective, yes. I think whatever I'm working on now, it's probably the next 5, 7, 10 years tops. And then there will be another chunk of 5, 7, 10 years. And probably another after that. But this is from this perspective, from what I know now, what I want now. This could change, I don't know, life happens. But I have in my state of mind, I have the energy, I have the ambition to do great things, and maybe they will switch to like doing things that will help me have more fun, but again connected to some sort of business opportunity. Even now, I'm looking for the fun too, but ultimately, I will always want to have fun in life.
And do you want to give back?
Give back.
Give back.
Yeah, I think it's been always part of the whole journey, like giving back to people one way or another, like the community events and supporting startups. That kind of giving back for sure. Yeah.
Frank, what about you?
I think I gave back a lot already.
Not about giving back. That was not the question. The question is,
Thank you, Frank.
Naturally. It comes naturally. I just give back a lot. I have a lot of credit in karma, like millions of karma points. But
Can you
I don't know.
exchange
What
them
was the
for
question?
travel credit?
what was the question?
What was?
Frank was, you're not even paying attention. So
I am paying attention. Sorry, there's a short memory. But no, but what's the question? Would I keep doing what I do? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
it's not a great answer.
Like, No, but it's true. I mean, like I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm pushing towards the direction, even if it's unknown. I'm like I have full control of my life, and so I'm exactly where I want to be. And after that, I mean, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm exactly where I can be, and that's enough. You know? You have,
the
to,
right
you have
path.
to satisfy yourself with what you have.
Yeah, let's say you have like I don't know, gazillion dollars, whatever. You're like extremely wealthy, if that's one of
Oh,
the
I know
goals. You're
that. I mean, I
successful,
would
marriage, everything.
straight compete with Elon, and then I would do I would launch the first underwater city to prepare Mars mission. I would work on stopping. I would put like I would say one day I'll be at a red light and I'll be like, oh my god, red lights makes no sense. I want to launch the new AI red light company that's going to minimize pollution. I'll just compete with Elon. And I think competition is good because he needs a competitor. So it's like, when you can do into greatness. I would launch genetic companies. I would launch a city where I would select the researchers and give them money for life and no need to publish anything, just to foster the next generation of an Amsterdam or of a Venice. I have tons of ideas. Like,
That's good.
How about you, Gabriel?
but I don't have a gazillion dollars, so I'm just trying to do an e-voting company and maybe some AI stuff.
Yeah, for me, I would not do another startup. My thing that I've always kind of wanted to do is I love this idea of like a growth by acquisition company. So do that. And from giving back, like I also have from an early age done a lot of nonprofit work. And now I've, continued that by giving back to Italy and other, younger founders. I probably would not do as much startup stuff. I would do more later stage things. Okay, quote of the week. Frank, you got to do the quote.
Sorry, construction
Somehow
nearby.
he's not
I'll
talking.
do. No, I've got a quote actually. Yeah, I've got
Cool.
because I feel like that's really. I never read the book actually entirely, and I want to read it.
Which one?
But I think it goes well with what we do. It's Moby Dick. So my quote from Moby Dick is, "All my means are sane, my motive and my object mad."
All my means are sane. My motive
And my object mad.
are mad.
Interesting.
So it's like it shows the conflict we're dealing with as entrepreneurs, I guess, between the desire for ambition. It's like the chasing Moby Dick. We're like, oh, there's like this Moby Dick of infinite growth, super beautiful white whale startup. And we're on our boat and we're chasing it and chasing it and chasing it and explaining to people, like right now we're in the messy middle, which is like we're on the fog. We saw Moby Dick last week. Now we don't really know where Moby Dick is, but we're gonna keep looking at it. But it's pure madness. But he looks sane at the short horizon.
Yeah. Good quote.
So that's my
It's a good
quote of
quote.
the week.
I like that. Well, we'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
See you.